Neon Genesis Evangelion or whatever, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. No one does. Is the story of a 14-year-old boy named Shinji Ikari or Ikari Shinji, depending on which culture you're talking about. Ikari Shinji is a 14-year-old boy who's a major wuss who never stands up for himself. He is allied with a girl named Ayanami Rei and a feisty little girl called Asuka Langley Soryu. The three belong to a secret organization, well, not so secret organization, in fact, it's pretty public, called Nerve, whose main slogan is It's Nerve or Nothing. Nerve is an organization that has giant robots that are used to battle giant enemy kaiju called angels. Angels being giant kaiju thingies that are never really explained. Well, there is an explanation, it's just it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, for the first half of the series, Evangelion is your typical run-of-the-mill giant robot anime that pretends it's deeper than it really is. More than halfway through the show, however, the budget runs out, so stories get slower and more introspective, and you find out that everyone has depression. Hence, the show becomes your typical indie game plot thing. I don't know. Anyway, Shinji is messed up because his daddy doesn't love him, and his mommy is dead. Very, very dead. And the woman who is in charge of taking care of him, Misato Katsuragi, or Katsuragi Misato, depending, wants to bone him, but she acts like she doesn't, but it's pretty clear that she does. She is a pedophile. But nobody says a thing because this is a 90s anime, and those types of implications are best left not thought about. Yeah. Anyway, sometime around episode 20, Shinji meets a guy whose name does not matter, and they fall in love. Only it turns out the boy is an angel, by which I mean a human-sized kaiju, defeating the purpose of kaijus. Shinji kills the little boy, and this spirals him into very, very, very bad depression. The last two episodes of the anime are a series of clip shows where Shinji narrates to himself a whole lot of baloney. Then there's a movie that serves as a finale, wherein the whole world ends and Shinji masturbates to his comatose friend Asuka Langley Soryu, who during the whole series had a slap slap kiss dynamic with Shinji, except for the kissing part, barring that one time. Barring that one time. But yeah, she always gave Shinji boners, and Shinji always got her wetty wetty, which is very bad because these are teenagers and they should not be thought of that way. The movie screws with your mind because most people have no idea what it's about. But a short analysis will reveal that the movie is about depression and how bad it is and how one can conquer it. But if you conquer that depression, you're gonna wind up in a post-apocalyptic world. Well, post-apocalyptic, because this is the second apocalypse the world has gone through in 30 years. And the final shot of the movie is Shinji and Asuka looking over a sea of blood and a giant corpse, and everyone's dead. And that would be the end, except that the guy who made Evangelion then made a whole lot of remakes about the show, turned into movies, which was a trilogy of sorts, or a quadrilogy. I'm not sure, I never saw them. And he gave Shinji a weirder ending than was actually thought possible. But that doesn't matter because the show is a classic. Neon Genesis Evangelion is a show about the importance of children having responsible parents in their lives. Shinji and Asuka don't have responsible parents in their lives, and so the two get into some weird situations. For example, they get to pilot giant robots that almost end up killing them. More than once, actually. Shinji is also constantly being hounded by a pedophile who just happens to look like a smoking hot 20-plus-year-old woman who really has no business living with a horny 14-year-old boy. No business doing that. And then there's Rei Ayanami, who lives by herself because she is a clone of Shinji's mom, and that is a whole can of worms. Neon Genesis Evangelion is a sort of anime that can only be made when you are super, super depressed, like Hideaki Anno, who made Neon Genesis Evangelion. If you find yourself making an anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion, please, for the love of God, visit a therapist because emotional and mental health is no joke.